Yes, full house today. Good evening. I'd like to open the meeting. It is 5:00, right on the dot. And I'd like to begin by advising the crew that the people here that the meeting is being recorded and live streamed. With the opening of the meeting to the committee, are there any disclosures of interest in the? Yes. By motion. Could I get a mover and a seconder for the meeting opening at 5:01? Okay, Sandy and Catherine. All in favor? Thank you. That carries. All right. Then we go to, are there any disclosures of interest? Hearing none, we'll continue on then. I'm seeking a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Got Sarah and Catherine. And all in favor? Thank you. That also carries. All right. Then we move to, are there any deputations tonight?
None scheduled, no.
None scheduled. All right, then we will. Very good, then we will continue. Unless,
No, it's a
That's-
public meeting,
yeah.
so everyone
Very
can
good.
speak.
okay. Then we look to application. Our first application will be 1B-02-26, 1B-03-26, 1B-04-26, 1B-05-26, easements and new lots for the Miller project.
Okay,
Would you like to report?
yep. So we've received 4 applications from Brody Miller. He's the owner of 100026847 Ontario Inc. For the property known locally as 117 Twin City Crossroads. There are 4 applications being proposed by way of infilling, which was approved by council February 8th, 2022. Each application is proposing the creation of 1 new lot for a total of 5 lots. 3 of the proposed lots will be 1.46 hectares in area, and 1 new lot will be 1.67 hectares in area, leaving a 5th lot with 2.6 hectares. The application is also requesting an easement along the most westerly portion of the property line, being registered in favor of each southern lot, as indicated in the figure in your packages. The applications were circulated to neighboring properties within 60 meters of the subject land. Notice was posted on the property, and agencies required through the Planning Act were circulated 14 days prior to this evening. The subject property has frontage on Twin City Crossroads, and the proposed lots would all front on Twin City Crossroads as well. The subject property is designated as both rural and industrial in the official plan, and zoned now only light industrial as of council's decision Tuesday evening this past week. The subject property is abutted by rural residential uses to the north, commercial uses to the east, Highway 1117 to the south, and additional light industrial to the west. The proposed new lots all have frontage along Twin City Crossroads, but will access the property from a proposed new municipally maintained road along the north end of the property with a private laneway and easement access along the west property line as previously mentioned. The area of each of the lots meets the requirements of the zoning bylaw. Both the official plan and zoning bylaw of the municipality of Oliver Boone support the creation of these lots as all related requirements are being met. The provincial planning statement encourages the creation of lots in appropriate areas, and this application is consistent with all provincial documents. We did not receive any interdepartmental comments. We received agency comments from both the Lakehead Region Conservation Authority as well as the Ministry of Mines, both indicating nothing of concern and having no objections. We did not receive any comments from the public, and council passed resolutions for each of the applications at their meeting Tuesday, March 10th. Each resolution stating that they would like to see site plan control based on the use of each lot due to proximity to residential uses. That would be at the time of a building permit being submitted to the municipality, as we don't know what those proposed uses currently are. So it would be my recommendation that each of the 4 applications from Miller be approved this evening with our usual conditions, with the addition of a condition based on a 10-meter easement registering along the west property line in favor of each lot as we continue south.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the committee? Sandy, microphone.
You mentioned that council wants you to put what on each lot? What was the wording?
But they want it just noted that they want site plan control for each of the lots based on the use.
Site plan?
Site plan control. It
And
just,
what does that mean?
it means like where driveways are located, buffer areas between residential uses and industrial uses. And that's why it depends on the use, just the way that they lay out the property for best.
So if one of these lots has a business that's noisy, smelly, I don't know,
Mhm.
then who would decide? If with this site plan control, and who would decide that there would be a buffer put there, or there would be for the people that are living there, right? The
Mhm.
people that are living next door, who would decide that?
Well, so the zoning bylaw already requires a 15-meter buffer of vegetation or natural buffer between any residential use and industrial use.
Okay.
So that would be established anyway.
Yeah,
And then it's based on what they're applying for in the building permit, as well as what their site plan looks like. And then there's myself, Wayne, and Chris Bowles, we all review site plan requests to determine the best use and layout of the property. So that all comes through a building permit process.
so if somebody applied, had questions about what kind of business they were gonna put in,
Mhm.
then you could suggest a berm?
Yes.
You could do that, and it
Yes.
would be you guys doing
Yeah,
that?
there's an actual application process for site plan control
Okay.
that they would have to follow.
Great, thank you.
Catherine, microphone, please. My loudspeaking's not enough. Not today.
I'm confused why this is being done through consent when it's not being done under subdivision application.
Would you like to speak to that?
Sure. Our official plan for the municipality allows infilling. Infilling is defined as if a property is using all of the land, so no future development remains, and so everything is allotted for, and it's under 6 lots, we could consider it infilling. And the council has already established that they are okay with that moving forward. So that's why they're before the committee for consent.
So it's my understanding that when there's 1 or 2 lots created, particularly if it's in an urban settlement area, that the consent application is the best method. But when it is more, 4 or 5 lots created, plan a subdivision is the way to ensure that it's been reviewed by all the appropriate authorities. This is, this is not in the urban settlement area. It is separated by land, highway, land, rail, and then the urban settlement area. So it is not abutting. It's not even that close as the car drives. So I think that this has been trying to circumnavigate the correct planning process to do this. In addition, I see a number of errors within the application. So I believe that this has been done the wrong way. There's errors in measurements. There's confusion between the lot size. Are we assuming that the MTO right away is part of the future design?
The MTO prevented access when he proposed 2 new lots last year.
Yeah.
It was the municipality's recommendation to him that he go this route where we can do access through the back.
So I'm not opposed to the layout. I mean, it's better than 5 driveways, like that's not my issue. I think that the process that this is being done, the lack of comment from the MTO in this case is like it's within their permit control area.
Mhm.
There are plans for twinning this section of the bypass,
Mhm.
which will probably change how that intersection works. So these last couple of lots are a lot greater affected. The drawing says that there's a 20-meter new municipal road.
Mhm.
Your notes say that it's a 10-meter
Easement.
easement. So how does that work?
The easement is along the west property line
It says
And it's-
across light lot 1.
in favor of lot 2, 3,
Okay,
4.
so the private road, but on the drawing says it's 20 meters wide.
Well, it's 10. This is the applicant's sketch. It's a 10-meter easement because it's not a full road. It's just
So
a laneway.
again, there's errors, and when I looked up the measurements on that lot from the sources that are available to me, the lot width should be, the lot width was 640 feet wide, minus a 66-foot road if I went with the 20 meters, so it's 33, so 606, that would work if it was only a 33-foot road, the 606.
May I ask a question?
Hmm?
Because it's 10 meters, should the other property beside it be developed? Will it get an additional 10 on that
That's
side?
That's certainly an
why it's
option.
10.
Yes.
Yeah, so why don't they go for the straight 20 right off the hop?
Then it would all be coming from the current property owners rather than dividing it between the two. The property it abuts against.
Mhm.
Normally, when roads go through, the division is equal.
But in this case, this is a private road,
Yeah.
Only
the west side,
Yes.
yes. And so the drawing is saying it's 20 meters wide.
Okay, my report says it's 10 meters wide.
Right, so we have some discrepancies.
Okay.
The math with this MTO control area, like I don't believe this was done correctly. I believe this should have been done through the plan of subdivision, and there's no comment, there's in the drawing. There's currently a dwelling on that property, which they've cleared the trees
Mhm.
to get ready. But when it talks about well and septic, it's saying, when the new lots are done, it doesn't say anything about the decommissioning of the existing ones.
That's all done through demolition permits.
Yeah, but it's like, you can't just like not comment about these things. You should say it will happen as part of the process. Like we're not being given the full picture of what's happening. We've been giving, there's mismatch between wording. So it's,
With the current forms and the current process, all of those things don't fall under our peruse as far as demolition permits and such go.
it says what kind of septic and sewer is proposed. It doesn't say anything about existing, so is this one lot gonna have 2 wells on it and 2 septic fields on it? Like we're not being given the full picture to make an informed decision. Like the drawing is. Yeah. Like the second lot down. Third lot down, supposed to be 1.46 acres, but there's a triangle missing from the east side of 1.67 acres, hectares. There's a triangle missing from the right edge of it. So how can it be the same size as the lot above it?
The measurements were provided by the applicant and they have signed the application to say that the information is correct. That is what we have to go with until such time as we see a survey, which is why surveys are always conditions of consent.
So, but if this was done through plan of subdivision, we would have more accurate drawing to be working with.
And it would be done by plan of subdivision had council decided that a municipally maintained road was not permitted, the way that they have already permitted.
We're the ones whose names go on these things in the long term, so. it's unfortunate the MTO didn't weigh in. So anyways, that's how I'm reading this. I'm reading it as there's a lot of discrepancies and I don't believe that it's ready for review.
Now I'm confused.
Yes,
I said,
Sandy.
now I'm confused.
Microphone, please.
I think it's on. It's green.
Thank you.
So is it up to us to say that this needs to be a plan of subdivision, or is that a council's
No,
decision?
that is within the recommendations of a committee of adjustment.
So council doesn't have a problem with the way this is done. Am I right there?
Yes, that's correct.
So they don't have a problem with the infilling there. And they didn't necessarily think that there needed to be a plan of subdivision, but that's not their,
But we've been elected to this committee based on our experience and our role specific to committee of adjustment
We
tasks.
We are not elected.
Well, nominated or approved. But chosen.
Would either of the staff have an opinion about the fact that it's MTO requirement for on the diagram? You have this in hash.
Mhm.
Does this actually own to the property owner, even though MTO says you can't develop that?
So it's MTO right of way, but it is, and the MTO provided us with that right of way information.
Yes,
That's where it came from.
but that may be part of the reason why the lots are equal in size, that they are owned by the people, even though they have a right of way from the MTO.
Well, the MTO will probably be expropriating that right of way when the goes
That-
on,
That is quite likely,
right?
but it
So
still at this point will belong to the lot designed, correct?
That's right, yeah.
That would be the difference in the diagram.
Number 9 there, it says 0 will be removed. So does that, like, there is just one building right now, and that should say 1? On page 20 of your report.
Each oh, sorry, yeah, there, because he had said that to us that he was going to demo it earlier. But he had to do a rezoning to light industrial to make sure that was approved prior to him doing that.
So there's actually 1.
There's a dwelling there currently, which will be demolished.
there's a house, there's a greenhouse, there's a barn.
Any further, Wayne?
The applicant came to council with this proposal before it even was a proposal to discuss what he wanted to do. Council at that time accepted the idea that this is not a plan of subdivision, it's infilling. They accepted that concept and they were agreeable to having a road. So the Committee of Adjustment does not deal with plan of subdivision, they deal with consent, and that's why it's here.
Thank you, Wayne. Are there any concerns? Any further concerns or comments? Hearing none. Then, or is, yes,
no, I'm just saying, how are you voting one at a time?
we will do one at a time, yes. That's standard process.
All right.
All right, I don't see any further comments or hands up, so I'm going to seek a motion. Would potentially that application for consent 1B0226 Miller for the creation of one new lot with an easement on the property legally described as concession 4 NR part lot 6, MR 186, locally known as 117 Twin City Crossroads in the municipality of Oliver Papunj, be approved with conditions. Is there a mover?
I'll move that we pass that, or that we grant that one with the condition of the site control plan.
That I believe was in the list.
Was that on
I'm
there?
checking. Let's check.
Okay.
No, I can
Okay.
add it though. We can do
Okay.
an 8.
For a site. With a site.
Site plan control be
Thank you.
required.
Sorry.
Would there be an option to defer it because it's not correct or complete?
That is a possibility. I have only a mover. I would need a seconder. And then, or
You can.
the
move.
motion fails and you can make a new motion. So, site plan control.
Be required
Be
at the time
required.
of building permit.
All right. That is the current motion with that addition. Is there a seconder?
Nope.
I hear none. Then the motion fails. All right. Is there a different motion to be proposed?
I'm wondering about deferment until we get these pieces, but like, I feel like as a committee, we should all feel in agreement with conditions, and I think that there are some issues raised with the application.
I'm okay with that, but it would be helpful to staff if we were specific about what the issues are. That would be a choice if the staff would like to learn that after the meeting or during.
No, we can, I will need to know. We can do it now.
Yeah, okay. What concerns do you have with the application specifically that you'd like to address on just, because we're only deferring the section number 2,
So, but all,
because that's the only one we're voting on or talking about right now.
do all of them relate to the land to be retained though, which is the section that I'm concerned about, that it says 0 will be removed, but that's inaccurate, and I think this is something that I did not do. My phone is here.
I don't know.
Continue.
Wouldn't that affect all of them though, because it's the same across all?
That's possible.
Yeah.
That's
I just wanted
possible.
to see that.
Sorry.
Like the 0 will be removed, that's inaccurate.
For the building that's there, is that what you mean? The
Yeah.
building's only on lot 1.
Yeah, so that's what I'm asking, is does it? It's only on lot 1?
Yes.
The lot 1 is the same.
No, lot 5 would be the retained.
Lot 1 is above.
Lot 1 is the north, yeah. So the house is currently on proposed lot 1. That's why he likely has 0 on all of them. Because the house is to be removed.
As in removed, not demolition, but removed from, because of the lot.
No, it will be completely demoed.
It will
They went,
demoed.
the same applicant went to council Tuesday evening to remove the rural residential zoning of the property. So now
And
the
that's been
property
done.
is entirely light industrial. So the residential use will be demoed so that they can move forward with the industrial plans.
Does that make sense?
Which one are we voting on right now? Which
Lot
lot?
number 2.
Okay.
Not lot number 1.
Proposal number 2, sorry.
Yeah.
So that is the concern, just that one error. Is there
That's-
anything else?
And do you have any? Review?
Well, my concerns are on measurements, the width of the road as labeled. The absence of wells and septics that are currently in existence, the dwellings, like this, normally that's in the list of items that are on a,
Well, the map should reflect where the buildings are.
Yeah.
On it, 'cause that's what it says directly on that map. minimum requirements for a sketch showing the following if applicable. So that it was missing.
Because it will be demoed. That's why it's not on there, and that's why I didn't request that it be on there, because it's going to be demoed. Also, I just for clarification, are you asking for a survey in advance of approval? Because that's the only way to correct the measurements. That's why it's a condition of consent.
What if they gave measurements on, like, you can just dump it into the computer and type your acreage and it'll give like your perimeters and it'll give you your acreage. Like there, you know, it's progressively smaller. I see this one's deeper, but when I dumped them in the computer today, I got different numbers. So,
Okay.
it just needs to be verified.
So we have a motion on the floor to defer until we have information required. Sorry. So we have a motion on the table to defer until we have information on the number of buildings currently on the lot, the wells, a verification of the sizes. Is that correct?
And then the width of the easement.
And the width of the easement.
On the drawing, it says 66. On Carrie's notes, it says 10 meters, 33.
Okay, that's very good. All right, with that, with those four things on the list, I have a motion to defer. Is there a seconder? Thank you, Catherine. All in favor? That is carried. Motion to defer. Okay. I've got scribbles on this one.
It's okay. We'll clean it up.
I am sure you will. Very good. All right, then, by process, we will do the same with the other lots. I will read them out and we will look for a motion to defer with the same conditions. Sound good? All right, that application consent of 1B0326 Miller for the creation of one new lot with an easement on the property legally described as concession 4, north of the railway, part lot 6, MR 186, locally known as 117 Twin City Crossroads in the municipality of Oliver Papunj, be approved with conditions. Motion to defer. Thank you. Seconder? Catherine? And all in favor? Thank you. Same. Next one. Good process. That application for consent 1B0426 Miller for the creation of one new lot with an easement on the property legally described as concession 4, north of the railway, part lot 6, MR 186, locally known as 117 Twin City Crossroads in the municipality of Oliver Papunj, be approved with conditions. Thank you. Motion to defer, and a seconder is Catherine. And all those in favor? Thank you. That's the same. And I think we have one more. Finally, that application for consent, I think this is the last one. Nope, two more. Application for consent 1B0526 Miller for the creation of one new lot with an easement on the property legally described as concession 4, north of the railway, part lot 6, MR 186, locally known as 117 Twin City Crossroads in the municipality of Oliver Papunj, be approved with conditions. Okay. Seconder, thank you. All in favor? Thank you. And one last time. That application for consent 1B0626. Oh, this is different. This is new. So we did the last one.
Yeah, you're.
Okay, then we're looking for the next item. Page 42 in the package. 1B0626 lot addition Anderson. Yes?
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I was late coming to see, I didn't realize that deputations for any applications at the very beginning. I thought they were at the time of the application beginning.
They are
I did.
at the time. You're correct.
No.
You're correct. You're not.
Yes,
No, no.
If there's any deputations.
No, we're fine.
Thank you.
Some people notify us ahead of time, and that was a question to ask if there had been any previously said they were going to speak. It is an open meeting. All right, we will continue. Will you share the information on the Anderson file?
So an application's been received from Marian Anderson and Menick Planning Services, acting as agent on behalf of Roman Catholic Bishop of Thunder Bay for the property known locally as 10 Porter Street in Oliver Papoonge. The application's proposing a lot addition of 0.04 hectares to be transferred from 10 Porter Street to 8 Porter Street. No other development is proposed. Again, the application was circulated 60 meters from the subject land. Notice is posted on the property and agencies were circulated 14 days prior to tonight. The subject property fronts on Porter Street in Kekabeka settlement area. Subject property is designated as institutional in the official plan and zoned institutional in the zoning bylaw. The land benefiting from the lot addition is zoned low density residential. There is no application required for rezoning the institutional portion at this time, as no additional development is proposed. 10 Porter Street is zoned institutional, as mentioned. It is surrounded by additional institutional uses to the west, low density residential to the east and south, and the railway to the north. The proposed lot addition does not impact the minimum zone requirements on the lot receiving the addition, nor the retained parcel. The retained parcel is larger than required in the institutional zone, and the lot receiving the addition will become less non-complying. We did not receive any interdepartmental comments. Agency comments were received from the Lakehead Region Conservation Authority, as well as the Ministry of Mines, both stating no concerns or objections. No comments were received from the public, and council passed a resolution at their meeting Tuesday evening stating no concerns. It would be my recommendation that the application be approved with the usual conditions.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Catherine?
Just for clarity, do we know why the property is receiving the additional lands? Is is there an encroachment or is there something that
Nope.
needed to build a,
Nope,
so
there's.
context would be helpful on that, but,
If you'd like to come and sit at the front, I'll recognize you when it comes up, but Catherine, did you have anything additional to add?
well, I was just wondering, like, just on the drawing, I don't see any wells or septic, so I don't see how moving this line will positively or negatively affect, yeah, or neutrally affect. So I'm just wondering why this property is in need of the additional lands.
Yep, yeah, could you please share your name before you speak? Thank you.
We were.
One moment. Catherine, try turning off your mic if it's on. Thank you. Try now.
Still.
Is there any further comments or questions? Seeing none, then I will potentially seek a motion that application for consent 1B0626 Anderson for the lot addition on the properly legally described on the property legally described as Plan M58, Lot 69 to 74, locally known as 10 Porter Street in the municipality of Oliver Papoonge, be approved with our regular conditions. Sandy will move that. Do we have a seconder? Catherine? Any further comments to the motion? All those in favor? Thank you. That carries. All right. We are on to King George's Park, pages 58 to 70 in your package, 1B 0726, Lot Addition, King George's Park Incorporated. Please.
Thank you. So an application has been received from John Simprel on behalf of King George's Park Incorporated for the property known locally as being on King George's Park Drive, Plan 55M 613, Block 14. The application is proposing a lot addition of 0.003 hectares from Block 14 to the neighboring parcel to satisfy a current building encroachment. The application was circulated to neighboring properties as well as agencies 14 days prior to today. Subject property fronts on King George's Park Drive, is designated as recreation in the official plan and mixed use recreation in the zoning bylaw. Everything within Whitewater subdivision is zoned mixed use recreation. The proposed lot addition does not impact the minimum zone requirements on the lot receiving the addition or the retained lot. Because this addition is within a plan of subdivision, council will be required to pass a deeming bylaw to remove the existing property line separating the two lots and create a new line taking into account the proposed addition. There were no interdepartmental comments received. Agency comments were received from the Lakehead Region Conservation Authority, the Ministry of Mines, and the Ministry of Transportation, stating no concerns or objections. No comments were received from the public, and council passed a resolution stating no concerns at their meeting Tuesday evening. So again, it is my recommendation that the application be approved with the usual conditions, including a condition with respect to the deeming bylaw, as previously mentioned.
Thank you.
Sorry, the deeming bylaw has to happen after then?
It happens as a condition of consent, so they can't do the lot addition, like to register it until the deeming bylaw is in effect.
And so they'll have to go to council. If we approve this now, then they'll have to go back to council.
Well, I just bring a deeming bylaw to council to get approved.
Oh, okay. Okay, thanks.
Anything further? Right. Seeing no other comments, then potentially I'm seeking a motion that application for consent 1B 0726 King George's Park Inc. for the lot addition on the property legally described as Plan 55M 613 BLK 14, locally known as King George's Park Drive in the municipality of Oliver Papoonge, be approved with conditions. Mover. Sarah. Seconder. Catherine. Thank you. Any further comment to the motion? All right, all those in favor? Thank you, that carries. Very good. All right, next report is on 1B 0826 easement Jensen's.
Okay, thank you. So an application has been received from Timothy Janssens, acting as agent on behalf of the municipality of Oliver Papoonge for the property known as being on Hearthstone Drive, known as Lot 12. The application is proposing an easement over the municipally owned PD railway of approximately 10 meters wide by 50 meters deep. Again, the application was circulated to neighboring properties within 60 meters and agency comments or agencies were circulated, within 14 days of this evening. The subject property has frontage on Hearthstone Drive, with the proposed easement being over a section of municipal property within the private parcel of land. Starting in approximately 1890, the land hosted the Port Arthur, Duluth, and Western Railway line from Stanley to Kekabeka Falls that operated for several decades. Currently, the subject property is designated as natural resources and ANSI in the official plan and extractive industrial in the zoning bylaw. The ANSI designation can be misleading. 1988 study done by the Lakehead Region Conservation Authority of the land includes a report compiled by T. Noble dated December 24th, 1979. The author says the slope located closest to the river has been disturbed by the presence of the railway beds, which has since been abandoned, and goes on to say that this area has been severely disturbed by gravel extraction for railway ballast. A 1983 M&R ANSI backgrounder on the Stanley Baroque stand says this site may have been disturbed historically. 2 different railroads bisected the present ANSI between the mid-1980s and 1935. Gravel was removed for railway ballast and fires burned along the tracks from time to time. Like the current official plan of the municipality of Oliver Papoonge, the township of Papoonge had provisions to restrict development on lands with the ANSI designation. Nonetheless, houses were built at 799, 810, 816, 830, and 885 Hearthstone after the lands on which they are located together with the PD right-of-way were designated ANSI in 1979. The construction of a driveway on this easement that covers a fraction of the subject property will be inconsequential for the ANSI, especially if compared to the impacts of house building. The subject property is abutted by extractive industrial lots to the north, rural lots to the east and south, and the Cam River to the west. Currently, Lot 12 has an old PD railway line that runs through it, which is owned by the municipality. Between the property line on Hearthstone Drive to the old PD line, Mr. Jansen's owns the land, approximately 10 feet. So he will have an entrance permit to access the lot through the municipality, while he can also legally cross the PD line as all lands owned by the municipality are public. The easement will allow him to construct, including grubbing, excavating, filing, gravel placement, and leveling, and access over the PD line so as to access the remainder of Lot 12, as well as lots 13 and 14, which are also owned by Mr. Jansen's. The easement will have conditions implemented by the municipality, which will include maintenance and type of use, which will be registered on title with the lands. A condition of this easement will be an easement agreement, which is a legal document that will be registered on title with the easement. This agreement would list specific conditions on the easement, which would include the disturbed area through the easement will not extend beyond 10 meters wide. The easement will not be used for aggregate extraction purposes. The easement will be constructed using materials within the easement. The easement is for agricultural-based activities only. A gate will be erected maximum 8 meters wide upon the south limit of the easement access. Surveying of the easement will be the responsibility of the landowner in consultation with Oliver Papoonge operational staff. Driveway alignment and location adjacent to Hearthstone Drive shall be determined by operational staff under a separate permit. All costs associated with these applications and agreements shall be borne by the landowner, and the easement will be revoked if a municipally maintained road is ever created along existing unopened road allowance to the east, being Pineview South. We did not receive any interdepartmental comments. Agency comments were received from the Lakehead Region Conservation Authority as well as the Ministry of Mines, stating no concerns or objections. We did receive comments from the public. We received letters from Yiska Westbrook, Rick Potter, Brian Marion, and the Thunder Bay Field Naturalists, all stating opposition to the application. These comments have all been circulated to the committee members as well as the applicant. And council passed resolution 87, 2026 at their meeting Tuesday evening, stating no concerns with the application. So it would be my recommendation that the application be approved with the usual conditions as well as the condition for the easement agreement.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the committee first?
I'm confused with this map. I actually can't even place it with the other maps. I'm just seeking some clarification, is this actually Germain Road?
No, that is from the land registry office. That is unopened Pineview Road allowance.
So if there's a road there,
It's unopened.
unopened, but why are we building an easement next to it?
Because it's the applicant's choice. You cannot use an unopened road allowance to access property as a legal entrance.
Why not?
Because you can only have legal frontages along maintained open roads. So they have frontage on Hearthstone Drive. So they will be able to get a driveway through the municipality of Oliver Punj regardless of this easement. And then 10 feet in is where that PD line runs through the property. So they're asking for an easement over top of that to access the remainder of the properties legally.
And this is in the designated ANSI area.
All of it is.
Any further questions from the committee?
Can we ask questions after?
Presentations?
Yeah.
Of course, of course. I just, yeah, of course. I understand there's at least one person that'd like to speak. Please introduce yourself when you turn on your mic.
There we go. Okay. Oh, I feel so small. I gotta change that. There we go. Okay. Okay, well, I think some of you may know me, but so my name is Yiska Westbrook and I live in Stanley and I'm on the Hearthstone Road. Basically adjacent I am adjacent to this lot 12 in this area. So I'm here tonight and I'm representing a bunch of citizens who have been trying to protect this Burr Oak stand for literally decades in some cases for some of them. I just came in on it around 2016. And this talk is on behalf of the Burr Oak, the Project Burr Oak is what I call it, committee. First, I want to say that we are absolutely not against this use of this land and these new owners. We are actually frankly ecstatic that this is happening, and we think it's amazing that actually what this ANSI represents is prairie plants and a prairie ecosystem, which I think at some point when the bison are roaming, that's an incredible thing to see. So we're all very happy about that, and we want them to have an entrance. So at this point, of course, the assumed intention to the property is agriculture, but it doesn't indicate it on the application because this application is not about them. It's about the municipal property, and that's the subject property that we're talking about. We want to make sure it's approved, though, that it doesn't compromise Hearthstone Drive itself. And of course, the Stanley residents, most of the residents in the Stanley community are along that section. And more importantly, that it doesn't impact this ANSI. Which is officially protected under the Planning Act, the provincial policy statement, and the official plan. So they've only ever been accessed, these lands have only been ever accessed on an internal road to another landowner's entrance. Changeover of ownership means that they'd have no longer that access either, that internal access. However, since November, when they purchased the land, there is traffic going in and out of there using that inside road for the rehabilitation that's going on. So Hawkwell himself still owns the aggregate pit license, and with that, he cannot, they can't rezone or do anything until that license is surrendered. And it's only surrendered once the rehabilitation is done in those lots. I know that there are some dates people are hoping for, but discussing this with the MNR, it really is up to how well the rehabilitation efforts are progressing once they can get back in there. But what this means is that this land is zoned extractive currently. They will continue to be zoned extractive until such time that the license is given up and they can be rezoned to agriculture if that's the intent. And under extractive, obviously, we have some uses there that we still don't like. Bulk sales establishments, portable asphalt plants would be one, stockpiling. I'm thinking also the traffic piece of this, if you have traffic coming in and out of this entrance. I realize, and I've actually heard you now say, Carrie, that there is an agreement. Just a point of fact, it would be very helpful to have a planning report to the public as well. I'm sure there's a lot in there that I wouldn't have to talk about, but I don't know because I don't have a copy of it. But I did hear you say that there is an agreement. I don't know what's in that agreement. I don't know what conditions you're stating in that agreement, and it would be very helpful to know that too. So if I can put this as a request from the committee that this is something that gets publicly disseminated would be wonderful prior to the meeting. So if there's an agreement, then, and there are conditions then on this agreement, and the nice thing about agreements is they actually are in writing beyond this consent approval, that the municipality restricts access, obviously, to uses other than what the land is zoned for. So we do not want an extractive zoned traffic to be coming out of that entrance. There is a bit of a conundrum with that for you though, because if you make that agreement, does that also not mean that the rehabilitation equipment can also not go through that entrance? Because that is an extractive use. So the question then becomes, can your agreement deal with that? Because then otherwise you're restricting the rehabilitation equipment. Or do they have an agreement to continue using that internal road? But the other question is, what if situations change? Okay, I fully believe the intent of the Jansens to do this and to develop this at some point for agriculture use. But things happen. And in the meantime, it could be sold. We don't know how long this extraction is going to, this rehabilitation is going to take. They could sell, they could lease. They may need something in there to make some money. I don't know. So now we have that an asphalt plant extractive zone in that extractive zone could be going on. I'm not saying that's happening, but I have had extreme things happen and I've been fighting things with this municipality and stuff like that happens. So what if he sells? What if he forfeits this agreement? I'd like you to consider at the time, what happens then? Once this entrance is in there, it's in there. It is not going to be taken away. I realize there's an allowance right beside it. I am very obviously, the council does not want this. The municipality does not want this unopened road opened, because to me, that is the solution. You can not be in the Sandse. You could avoid it completely. Personally, going out 1117 is right down the road from their entrance to their farm already. To me, it seems like a no-brainer. That a small portion of the road would have to be opened, yes, from the highway to their lot 14, and they could head out 12, 13, and 14 out Highway 1117, which would completely avoid the south end. And to that, I would say that a discussion with the MTO, wondering, why does the municipality not be able to do that, and why would MTO not be able to do that, or can a discussion be had as to what that would cost? There is an issue that Hawkwell has taken a lot of the extracted a lot of the Pineview Road allowance, so there is having to rebuild it a bit. But if you're only having to open it up a small ways, why not do that? So that's the alternative. I already talked about that. I'm now going to get into errors and omissions, and this is a bone that I have. I am a person who tries very hard to dot the I's, cross the T's. If we have an application, it needs to be filled out, and it doesn't matter who you are, or what you're doing, or whatever it is. We have a planning notice, first of all, that says it's a lot addition. The planning notice says it's a lot addition. That would be confusing to people. Now we're thinking it's actually going to be removed. Okay? It's not a lot addition, and we know that. But application number 2 is not the name of a person. You have an address in there of the railway. Number 8 indicates the easement is to be severed. Number 8 is about severance. Even a comment in there saying, scratch out severance, put easement, something, because I had many people asking questions when they saw this application. Number 23, I believe, I don't actually have in front of me, says what the intent is in the sense that it's for access for lots, the lots. But the question is talking about how does it fit into the existing land uses in the area? Land uses on adjacent lots is currently extractive and residential. So how does this easement fit in? The problem with this is that nowhere in the applications does actually say what is the intent of this easement? What is the intent of the use of this easement? It's nowhere. So people will get up in arms when they see, this is a sensitive area and a sensitive issue. And when you have land going into Hawkwell's property and no one tells us why, we get upset. And number 23 doesn't answer that for us. Number 24 doesn't describe the ANSI and how in detail this easement and access conforms with the intent of that official plan. There is protections for ANSIs in the official plan, in the Planning Act, in the PPS. It's all directed. Yet there is nothing in that question that says, how does this conform? How is this not going to have a negative impact on the ANSI? What do we have as a technical study, not just saying it is, but there needs to be some sort of concrete study by an expert, not by, I've been told many times I'm not an expert in certain things and that I can't then give an opinion of it. So you need an expert to say that this easement and the driver they're going to build into this is not going to have a negative effect on the easement. Number 27, number 25, does not describe how this easement, accessing through an ANSI, is consistent with the section of the PPS 2.1.5, and I'll talk more about that later. 27 says nothing, and there's an option of is there anything else to add, I believe. This is a perfect spot to say what the intent is. The intent is for agriculture, type of traffic, approximate volume of traffic. We all know traffic is an issue. To say traffic is an issue in planning is ridiculous. People will always say, what's coming out of there? How much? I live there. What's going to come by me, right? Explain that. In the signing section, Tim Jansen is not authorized as an agent. In the very top section of that page, that is where the municipality has to authorize him as the agent, as I understand it, but it's empty. I do know that down below, obviously, he's signing as the agent at the very end, but he's not authorized yet, unless there's something I'm missing. Then Tim Jansen is named as the applicant declaring everything. Well, the municipality is actually the applicant, so shouldn't the municipality solemnly declare, and then Tim Jansen being signing as the agent once he's authorized? The application map, it doesn't indicate the ANSI. The ANSI is not even on this map. It's like one of the most important features of this area, and it's not on the map. It doesn't highlight it on the map. So the public who like I said, I didn't get a copy of this planning report, and yeah, I'm fired up about that because that application doesn't say anything. That ANSI is something that's been in place since the 1980, 1979. That's an important protection. That is afforded official protection. It's a natural feature. It's a designated land. It's asking for it in the application map, in the application list for maps. Location of houses. You have a house and a garage right beside that right of way. On the other side of that road allowance, there's a house right up against it. I don't know if that affects anything, but I'm sure that person is going to have some questions, but I don't know if they're here tonight. But it's not there. It doesn't show where the well is, the building. My property is to south, not very close, so. But I have a well, I have some buildings. Current uses of adjacent properties. It doesn't actually indicate it on the map. It's verbally stated somewhere, I think, but actually I don't think it is. It doesn't say what's extractive and what's rural. Maybe it does. But again, I heard in the planning report it did. So without public access to that planning report, which may explain many of these indiscretions, these errors and omissions, I personally think should just right away constitute corrections to the application and a redistribution of the public notice in the future. Now we get to the most critical issue regarding the application, and that's, as I've been bringing up already, the area of natural and scientific interest. So there is Burr Oak and a unique prairie ecosystem. I've sent you all the documentation I ever found, also discussing it with the Thunder Bay Field Naturalists on this ANSI, and it is protected by the Planning Act and the provincial policy statement and your own official plan. So municipal official plans must be consistent, okay? They have to be consistent with the PPS, and it's stated under section 3.5 of the Planning Act that all municipal planning decisions and planning documents must be consistent. That means that all municipal planning decisions, including consents, variants, easements, must be consistent as well with the PPS. And it's important because right in this PPS contains explicit protections for ANSIs. Okay, the PPS is a legislative authority, gets its legislative authority from the Planning Act. And it came into effect on October 20, 2024. Okay, so that's only 2 years ago. And it applies to all decisions. This is important. It applies to all decisions in respect of the exercise of the authority of the Committee of Adjustment that affects a planning matter made on or after that date. So we're in 2026, so that PPS is in effect. And what it states in 415 is development and site alterations shall not be permitted in E, significant areas and natural scientific interest unless it has been demonstrated. Demonstrated. Not just verbally told you, but demonstrated that there will be no negative impacts on the natural features or the ecological functions. There are Burr Oak in that spot where, I mean, I don't know exactly on the ground. I understand it's about maybe, I don't even know the distance. It doesn't say from the right-of-way edge to where they're going to build the easement. I can kind of guess because the trees were cut illegally a few years ago. So, but there are Burr Oak growing back. So they need to be protected. The official plan designates the lands as not only an ANSI, but also natural resources. So the municipality itself is recognizing the environmental significance of this area and has adopted the policies that intend to restrict development within it. So the official plan states the same thing. Shall not be permitted in or adjacent lands, significant areas of natural scientific, unless it has been demonstrated to the satisfaction of the Committee of Adjustment. It's the satisfaction of you guys, not the satisfaction of planning, not the satisfaction of council, not the satisfaction of me, not the satisfaction of them or anybody. It's you. You have to be satisfied with this decision. Under the Planning Act, public works and planning decisions must conform with the official plan. Thus, the ANSI designation in the official plan carries legal and policy weight. It is not, the official plan is not just something you reference and just say, yeah, we want to do it or no, we don't. You have to follow it. That's why it's a plan. You pay big bucks to build it, to protect things. And so with that, it would require technical justification to prove no negative impacts. Technical. This means that the C of A cannot approve development that conflicts with these policies without the PPS and MOP required proof that no negative impacts will occur on the bur oak, the plants in this ANSI, from either using an environmental impact study or an ecological assessment, a species and habitat review, or mitigation measures. Whatever it needs to be an expert to just go in there, do a site visit, look at it, determine what's there, determine what the best location is. This is an extremely steep slope once you get in there. You are going to have soil. The fact that this is only a 10-meter easement is shocking to me because the amount of land they're going to have to even just separate to get through it will be, fairly extensive. So at 10 meters, I don't even see how they could do that without disturbing more. And I'm not saying they can't, but there has to be a technical expert who states that this is what you need to do. And this is how you guide it through here. Let me catch up here. A driveway, even within a 10-meter width wide easement, is considered development and site alteration. Under the provincial policy statement, as it said, site alteration includes grubbing, excavating, grading, filling, and placement of gravel. This driveway obviously is going to do most of those. Now, I think I heard that there was a statement in the planning report that the easement and driveway is inconsequential. That is not an expert statement. That is, what is the value? Where does that come from? An inconsequential. A driveway can actually impact and fragment habitat. It can do soil disturbance, invasive species can be introduced, drainage changes. It's all coming downhill to the Cam River. Vehicle access leading to further disturbance. So there's a lot that can go on. So the ecological impact on this ANSI cannot be determined has to be without some sort of ecological analysis, again, required by an expert. I don't have the planning report or any copies of agency responses, but if the MNR has provided no response or commented with concerns, you would not stop there. You would ask them to say, can you please provide us with the ecological analysis for your defense? Personally, I wouldn't do anything until MNR does specifically talk about the ANSI. If you just get a letter saying we have no response, well then why? Why do you have, we want to make sure it's your name on this, nobody else's. And they are just another agency that you rely on. It's to rely on their information, not depend on it. If the official plan designates these ANSIs and restricts developments, the municipality, you must apply these policies unless an amendment of that official plan or proper study justifies otherwise. I also think I heard that stating the ANSI is misleading. I can't remember if I wrote that right, but something about stating that this area is an ANSI is misleading. And I'm sorry, Carrie, but that's misleading itself. Researching that I've done through all of this and knowing what I know, and I think the misleading part is because of what you're saying was disturbances already in it, historical disturbances. But what the research I did, and I know from the time in my 2016 when I fought to protect this bur oak, and this whole group fought to protect this bur oak back then, I also questioned how the historical disturbance from a previous railway in this ANSI and how other developments were allowed since the ANSI was designated. For example, Hawkwell was able to extract almost the entire ANSI and in lot 12. And there are residential lots. My house is there. How did my house get to be allowed there? There's other people that I didn't buy it, but someone let these people buy these lands. And this is the key thing here. The area of natural and scientific interest designation is based on provincial ecological significance. It is not whether a site has been historically disturbed. Many ANSIs in Ontario contain former rail lines, logging areas, historic agricultural disturbance, yet they remain protected because the ecological feature, and in this case it's the bur oak and the prairie plants, still exist and are recovering and are thriving. Examples, Lorne Park Prairie in Mississauga, Burnt Lands Oliver in Ottawa, Geenock Swamp in Bruce County, and there's others. So the MNR designate ANSI specifically because important ecological features remain, even if portions of the site were altered historically. Hockwell's extraction in these residential lots were allowed in more recent years. There are multiple reasons for this, of how this could happen. First of all, they could have been approved before environmental policy was set. But this PPS is now effective as of 2024. So this decision here has to abide by the ANSI protection. They could have been approved without proper environmental review. You could approve this right now without that technical safety. That would be approving this without proper environmental review. They could be legal non-conforming, grandfathering, which is, I believe, how Hockwell would have gotten away with it. Privately owned. Maybe these were all privately owned beforehand. It's hard to do that on privately owned. There could be errors in early planning decisions by committee of adjustments or council. So that's how this could happen. But none of these legally justify additional development in this ANSI. They're not justifications. Okay, precedent setting is not a justification, and I need to say that over and over again. It is not a justification. Under the provincial policy statement, planning decisions must be based on current policy and environmental protection, and past planning mistakes do not justify repeating them. The current PPS applies to all decisions in respect of the exercise of the Committee of Adjustment, and that affects a planning decision made in this year. So approving this 2026 application without appropriate technical justification would be approving it based on precedents, which is not a valid justification. Something that came out of all of this was a meeting I had, and I found out that MNR has actually sent letters to all the houses that are in the ANSI, except for me, which we cannot believe why. But anyway, they get tax incentives. So they actually get a portion of their taxes back. So MNR recognizes and is actually trying to protect this ANSI on those private lots. I found out now mine as well, from future disturbance using tax incentives under the Conservation Land Tax Incentive Program. So residents along Hearthstone within the ANSI received letters from the MNR informing them they qualify for a property tax exemption for the eligible ecologically sensitive portion of their privately owned lands because of the bur oak and the prairie ecosystem. I have to still find out what they have to do, and if I can't mow my lawn, then I might be upset about it. But there is an incentive, so MNR is even trying on these private properties to protect it. In 2016, through the efforts of myself and the Project Bur Oak Citizen Group, and decades of efforts by previous residents, Thunder Bay Field Naturalists, Lakehead University, and MNR themselves, Council voted down a land transfer due to the ANSI unanimously. And 3 out of those 5 council members are current members today, Mayor Kloosterhuis, Councillor Kamphoff, and Councillor Viss. So to hear them have no comment on this was extremely disheartening. So I guess we get to the point of what to do. And what I decided to do, because I am not against the Jensens getting this, and I understand the importance of them getting it. And so instead of just ranting and raving about what I want. Yeah, and I can email it, no problem. Okay, so what to do? I could say here right now, deny it. That's your decision. So then I hope to guide if you have other thoughts. So you are the decision authority on this application. Again, not council, not the manager of planning, not the agent, not the public. You are. So you could do one of 3 things. You could defer it. You could hold it in abeyance. You could defer it until the application and planning notice errors are corrected and redistributed, which would be nice. You could then have an expert ecological analysis completed. You could get MTO to comment on the possibility of access to Highway 1117, because I believe from all my past experience with them that it is always possible there, but it has to do with a bunch of things. And because this is now agriculture and not extractive, There are going to be different rules about where they could have an entrance onto Pineview. Yes, you would have to go to council and get them to spend some money to build the road up at taxpayers' expense, even though Hockwell took it. But that's a possibility and it avoids completely the ANSI. And I just can't believe this council would be okay with destroying an ANSI for when it can be solved with a road and a better entrance area. So I've met with Kevin Ellis. I already talked about that. Each application is different and they may or may not require traffic studies. They said that. It all depends. You just have to go ask them, what is this for? What's coming out? What's the traffic volume? What type of traffic? And they may have to do nothing. Just fix the road up a bit and you've got your entrance. I know there might have to be more with council. I'm not downplaying the whole thing about unopened roads. This being though, if you do that, so if you defer and hold in abeyance and there is another information coming out of it, I know that this is a statutory public meeting and I know if you defer, things could be written and developed and then we won't have a say at the next one. And I respectfully request that if you defer, we are also given the ability to have the results of any reports or whatever gets done to be communicated to all of us who are here today with our signatures on that sheet and that we have a chance to comment again. Because I have had too many reports looked at and misinterpreted and misread and then not be able to speak again. And that's just not a public process to me. The second option you have is approve it. So if you approve, I would say please ensure the conditions of that consent in that is to have that agreement that was spoken of between Jansen's and the municipality, and that at the least it contains conditions that there is still an expert ecological analysis done to mitigate negative impacts, to ensure that the location that I believe Chris Bowles is going to be choosing is also not just where the location is, but also where the plants are, where the ecosystem is, and what's best for erosion. I know that Chris would be really understanding about erosion and road building. However, this is only a 10-meter easement. The slopes are going to be like this. Like they're going to have to pull it back. So I think that should be there. There should be definitely disturbance restrictions. So how much can be disturbed? Zoning use, traffic restrictions. So yeah, only agriculture. But then you have to deal with the rehabilitation traffic. I don't know how fast this entrance is going to go in, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be really fast. And termination, what if it terminates? So again, he sells, it's still extractive. What happens if he terminates? What happens to this entrance? This entrance is here for good. People on Germain Road know what this feels like. That an entrance gets put in for something very minor and everyone downplays it. It's just residential. It's just for this. It won't be that. And then boom, something goes sideways and now we have an entrance doing all this other stuff. But just remember, if you approve it at this point, now maybe you do. I don't know actually what's in your package. But if you have no expert technical analysis for this easement and construction to prove no negative impacts on this ANSI, then you would be approving a disturbance in this ANSI in violation of the rules of engagement as dictated by the Planning Act, the PPS, and the OP. And we come to our final option, is denying it. Along with the issues I have raised regarding the errors and omissions in the application and the planning notice and the traffic issues and concerns we have, this application has to be denied due to the presence of the ANSI and the protections afforded to it under the Planning Act, Provincial Policy Statement, and Official Plan, all of which require that an environmental impact study or equivalent ecological analysis be completed by an expert to demonstrate no negative impact. Something has to be there that demonstrates no negative impact. It can't just say it's inconsequential, or I can't remember the other one, but that has to be done before development can even be considered. And if precedence is being used to justify anything, then the appropriate precedence is Council's 2016 decision to reject a land transfer in order to prevent disturbance and protect the ANSI. And this land transfer was going to very much help this municipality with a gravel pit situation. It would have extended the life of their own gravel pit, and they said no. It was unanimous at that time. And there is this other option that should be considered and examined first, which avoids further destruction of this ANSI, contravening the municipality's official plan. And it's this option that should be granted so that Jansen's get the access that we all want them to have. Thank you.
Are there any questions from the committee for Yitzke? I'm gonna get to that next, but I'll start with, are there any questions as she's sitting there?
Sorry, it took a long time, but I figured I represented a bunch of people, so,
All right, they don't have questions, so
No,
we're
okay.
good for a moment.
okay.
Yes, if others have, if you'd like to go next.
Small points.
Is the microphone still on?
It is.
Please state your name.
My name is Alan Smith. I also live in Hearthstone and I've been there 43 years. We're down on the other side, on the west side of the PD Bridge. And you might not think it impacts us, but with the ANSI, it's a big quality of life thing. We're really proud of those trees and everybody protects them. We all do a little bit, but from our perspective where we are, traffic is an issue because we're in a 60 km/h zone on the other side of the bridge, on the east side, right in front of where this entrance will be. It goes to 50. Now, people don't go 60 and people don't go 50 when it changes. For the most part, on our side, coming from O'Connor up in there, they're doing a lot faster, except for the people that live because they have a little more respect. But that's a blind corner. And this entrance is right on the exit of that blind corner onto a straight stretch. And I don't think it's safe at all. Just, I can see it on there. The second thing is I did a little research and there are ways to stop anything progressing for a long time with this ANSI if it's being desecrated, so to speak. I don't want to go there, but this really, Pineview Road is such an obvious reality. There is nothing in its way. There are no buildings up there. There's one downhill stretch that if you took off the top of the hill, you would have a huge amount of fill to be provided for the run to their property, the first place they need to be. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Yes.
At the beginning of the presentation, you listed some comments that came in.
Please state your name.
My name is Oscar Mattis. I live on the south side of the river, looking at the north side where that nice hill is.
Yeah.
Now, I sent in my email last night to the Wayne and to the planning department, but I didn't hear that in the submission.
I have not seen anything. Would you like to speak to it?
Okay. I think I'll just read this first. You've heard lots about the ANSI. My concern, first of all, I wish to submit my concerns regarding the application 1B0826. Then I said, please ensure copies of this email is passed on to Committee of Adjustment committee members for their meeting scheduled for tonight. Then I listed the members, but obviously they didn't get it because Wayne didn't get it and you didn't get it. My main concern is potential of destroying the land designated as ANSI. The application is requested the applicant is requesting an easement through the municipal portion, presuming to get access to lot. I had an error there. I said lot 14. It's actually lot 12 via Hearthstone Road. I Googled ANSI Oliver Papoonge. This is what came up. The following is taken directly from the internet. Areas of natural scientific interest, of which you've already heard 3 or 4 times, in the municipality of Oliver Papoonge are identified in local planning documents as key environmental features that require protection, scientific study, or education. These designated areas are often integrated into the official plan alongside wetlands, steep slopes, and areas of shoreline erosion management. And it even in that article, it even shows the little Oliver Propoon's symbol. Then I think I sent a link to that statement, but I'm not really that good at links and so on. Okay, here's my main concern is erosion. Nobody's really touched on erosion. Maybe 3 or 4 years ago, east of this subject property, I would say maybe 300 to 400 meters east, an access driveway, road, whatever you want to call it, was constructed north to the top of the hill. I presume all on private property. This being a very steep slope, the road was constructed with hairpin turns. The heavy torrential rainfall we received last year, and I'm going to say appears because it says private property, but I could see from the road, appears to have caused much erosion and washout in this access. The location of the applicant on this 1V0826 Harston Road is on equal slope, but extends much closer to the Harston Road. Areas are often integrated into the official plan alongside wetlands and steep slopes. So there's the steep slope. Steep slopes we certainly have in this ANSI. Removing vegetation and trees to provide access is potential for disaster, especially now that the area above has been disturbed. And what I mean by that, all the gravel has been removed, and right now it's a peak to the top of the hill, like a tent. So there's going to be rehabilitation, my understanding anyway, but it's going to be disturbed soil disregards. The bur oaks in this designated ANSI requires protection, scientific study, education. The deputation presented at Tuesday, March 10th council meeting, as well as tonight again, they have provided an alternate option for access. Committee of Adjustment, do the right thing and reject this application. Thank you.
Thank you. I didn't ask the committee. Did you have questions for either of these gentlemen? Okay,
Now, question. I
okay.
came from all three. When would you like me to ask that?
Now, or it's your choice. I was gonna ask. Yeah,
Or staff?
okay. How about I ask and see if there's anyone else who would like to present? Yes, of course. Please state your name.
Hi, I'm Ashley Janssens.
I'm Timothy Janssens. Oh,
Okay. I would like to address some concerns. I know that this property in itself was a huge risk for us to take on. We see this risk. When we purchased this property, we knew it was landlocked, but there were 3 possible entrances. Unfortunately, the unfortunate part is that we do have the frontage on the Harston Road. And as far as the MTO goes, you have frontage on the Harston Road. So yes, Pineview would be, it's across from our house. But at this time, because we have the frontage on the Harston Road, the MTO is not entertaining the idea. So that is to answer that question. And so it does lead us to this application from the Harston Road. To put in perspective that we are not going to plan a asphalt plant. Okay, like I feel that is really far-fetched. We are 2 40-year-olds who took on a huge challenge as it was to start a bison farm, which has been running successfully. This bison farm runs on 0 acreage of our own. So that is what prompted us to purchase this property, which was right across from our home, other than the fact that we had been watching it for years. And we go there and we think that the bison will do amazing things here because we have seen it on the property that we are leasing currently. So we understand conservation, we support conservation. We have had many benefits to the animals, and I know Jessica has spoke to that it is an exciting thing. The unfortunate part is it was a gravel pit. There's been mass destruction. I actually went there in October and cried. I cried because of what we wanted to purchase and then what was taken out of there when we began these discussions. So it is a heart situation that we have. We have gone to and spoke with the Lakehead Conservation Authority, and that area in itself, they say they have no issue with it at this moment. So when we're presenting this, that is what we're led to believe, that we are being given the go-ahead. If there are any issues, you can be sure that we'll be on it, because it is not our intention to destroy the environment, to destroy what this entity has brought. If anything, we were your best case scenario. So taking back a bit, the original purchase agreement was only for lot 14, and the threat was that that could have been sold commercial. And we pushed and we pushed, and we said, we have a vision and we want this to move forward. And we both are risk takers. We know the risk and we're going to move it forward. So yes, the Highway 1117 would have been a perfect option. Unfortunately, the MTO at this point does not want to entertain it because we don't own the frontage. So their suggestion is go straight to the Hearthstone. So that brings us here today. So like, we're all in a pickle, you know, for that property itself. We can't really take the rehabilitation for like the traffic, because during the last council meeting, they agreed that the traffic for the rehabilitation effort would not be off the Hearthstone. Am I correct? It would be through Germain, or existing agreement. So I want to correct that it's not.
Can we just talk for a second?
She has to go back to work.
I have, like, I actually,
She took an hour off work.
I'm
For sure.
We want this to go,
Yeah.
okay?
Can we just?
I actually, like, I am really on the clock here. Anyway, so yes, I see that there is a lot of issues at hand and we can work together. We don't need to be having secret meetings in public places, which was brought to our attention. Unfortunately, come to us, ask us your questions. We will work this out. We don't want erosion. That's not what we're going for. We want to access our property. Now, we do have lot 14 that is almost ready to start being agriculturally developed. Unfortunately, we cannot get there. We cannot get there. So moving forward, yes, for our farm, the Hearthstone entrance is our solution, so we can start doing what we're planning to do. But we will follow whatever it is that we need to follow to make sure that we're all happy with this decision. So, yeah. Anyway, yes.
One is the diagrams are not super clear. Turn mine on. Sorry, people. If I understand correctly, Hearthstone Road, then you own property, then is the PD line, and then you own property, correct? So all you need to do is go over that PD line, correct? Second thing, if I heard the report correctly, right now, if you didn't build the road, you technically could drive over it anyways because it's public property. Yeah. So the goal is to actually put in a driveway so that you do it properly and you don't have the erosion.
It was for the benefit of our community, you know, so there is things to do with every legal. That is not what we're going. We want to cross all of our T's and dot all of our I's. It is, to be honest, I am hurt. I'm hurt that people can't come to us and ask us their questions directly. They've been talking and like this.
No, it is not an industrial area. Analysis, and we can't make a plan only because the MNR has not finished what they intended to do, so we're at a standstill. But our intention is to keep going with our plan, because that's exactly what we've been doing for the last 10 years with our bison farm, and we have succeeded. And we will keep pushing, and those animals have done amazing things for that property behind us. We have a 3-acre field of sage that we entertain many Indigenous organizations all summer long. I work full time, I take my days off, we sit there and we pick sage for the Indigenous organizations. So we understand. So we're not naive. We know this was going to be hard, but we are working with everybody. So if you want to work with us, to find a solution, we're here.
Suggestion.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, there are entrances to farmers' fields all over this township. They're just a gate. That's it.
We still need legal access to a property by law.
I'm sorry, guys.
Okay.
Where is that? These plant of, property, like I said, all over this township. I could make you and tell you how it does it within a mile.
I grew up on there. I understand 100%. Sorry, do you want me to talk to them here? Where do you want me to?
Prefer you speak to the mic, just so those online can hear you.
I grew up on a farm.
You could have access, but it's a farm gate. You just come put a gate on the hard sheet. Onto the note. That's what. Yeah, we don't want something that can become something else later.
For sure. I respect that.
And.
But this is my question. How come everyone went around us? This is like my wife.
So I'm just gonna call it and say,
Yeah.
say that although I do hope there's healing in this community after this, but we're gonna try to stick to the issue, okay? Is there?
My wife took her paper.
You
My wife took her paper. Our option, like MTO would not offer us access to Pineview, to our property legally, because they said we have no frontage on 1117, but it's their agreement to access the Pineview right away,
Yeah.
which is not a maintained road. So that's our limitation. So that's why we went for a driveway access on our stuff.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
Thank you, Tim. Is there any questions from the committee for Tim or would be an Ashley? Yeah, I know. Okay, thank you. Would you like to come to the mic, please? So we are broadcasting, so I can't not.
Like I was under the.
Is the mic on? Just, thank you. Your
Oh,
name.
no?
Yeah, and your name.
Oh, okay. No, I was just under the understanding that
What's your name?
Dana Pugh.
Thank you.
Anyways, I was under the understanding that Hockwell's garage, that road that accesses the pit is an illegal access. And it's been going on there for years. So like you were saying, they're not going to give them access through the Pineview, which I'm thinking if that road was the illegal access and they enforced it and they shut it off, then Hockwell doesn't have a way to get in the pit.
That's,
Then going down.
that may or may not be true. I can't answer
I-
that. Someone else could, but it's not to the topic today.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, why going up the Pineview, I don't understand why, if it's just farming, why
Yeah.
couldn't you go in there?
I can't answer that except that MTO has said no.
It's a road allowance or.
I can't answer that. I
But I just
cannot
thought I'd
answer
bring
that.
it up.
Yeah.
For sure.
And like I said, we're all for the
Yeah.
bison. I think that's great.
Yeah.
And another thing I was worried about, like as far as the rehabilitation of the pit, like on the other side of that hill, it just goes like straight down.
Oh, I know, trust me. That's why he's dealing with the MNR, but that's besides
Yeah.
this point
Yeah.
also.
Is Hockwell gonna?
Yeah, we're gonna,
rehabilitate that?
I'm gonna call that and
Okay.
say you guys need to talk in the
That's fine.
parking lot.
Yeah, okay, well, I just.
Thank you.
Bring it up, that's all.
Thank you. Is there anything further from the crowd? And then I'm gonna ask if staff or the committee wants to address some things. You can go back, yes. Wayne.
I'd like to comment a bit on this. I have been looking into it. I'm aware of the issues, the ANSI, et cetera. In my opinion, again, I'm not a biologist or whatever, the grassland that was left over from post-glacial times is on borrowed time. We all know that. What's happened here is forest succession takes over grassland. And if you look at the ANSI, there now, the PD, what's in it? Yeah, there's some bur oaks with the prairie grassland around it in some places, but a lot of it is trembling aspen and birch and not prairie grassland. Now, this is kind of like an opportunity to work with the new owner who's got bison, and it's in the letter that was sent by the Thunder Bay field naturalists. Maybe he'd be interested in reestablishing prairie plants for pasture. This Hall's fescue, for example, which is one of these prairie plants, was a natural food for bison. Now, I don't know how good of a thing it would be to try to do that rather than your normal type grass. But this is an opportunity really to have the prairie grassland restored if that's what Mr. Jansen and his wife is interested in doing. And trying to, this confrontation against this easement is destroyed that, I see, that potential.
So
That's good, because I think that having a 10-meter, and it won't be down to ground level, the idea is to go over the bank, maybe 1 or 2 meter cut, and then you go back down, so the drainage isn't going to go to the camp.
Comes right through that bank.
So Wayne, did you have anything else you'd like to add? Otherwise, there is someone else I'd like to speak.
Sure, no, it's fine.
Yeah, okay, well, please state your name, yeah.
Hi, I'm Chris Bowles, Director of Operations, and I'm the one that's responsible for issuing driveway permits in this municipality. Been here 11 years, done 427 driveway permits. It's been busy. At each location, we take into account drainage, slope, constructability, water runoff, impacts to our road network, impacts to adjacent properties. It's part of the process that I do. Everyone's speaking as if it's going to be a straight downhill to the Hearthstone. That's not what is intended there. Again, as the report states, under the direction of the operational staff, we will ensure that there is no adverse runoff because it's what we do currently to every driveway application. We understand the sensitivity of this area. I was here since 2015. I'm well aware of the back and forth in regards to this property. I know you don't want to speak about separate applications, and I'm appreciative of that. We have had numerous discussions in the last 6 to 8 months with both the new owners to facilitate completion of all projects to get the aggregate license removed by the timeline. It will happen. It will be restored. And there will be a driveway application that is constructed properly. It meets the sightline conditions as defined by the MTO for the Hearthstone Road right-of-way for a 50-kilometer-an-hour zone. It will be constructed properly with zero impacts to the environment of the road network and the traveling public. The ANSI, yes, it's an ANSI. Wayne's the expert on the ANSI at this panel right now. I can say when the trees were moved in 2016 that the area that was disturbed where the excavator was sitting falls right where this driveway is going to go. That's where the driveway will be going in when you do the measurement from the property bar to the neighboring house to where this easement is proposed to go. And again, council is aware and has supported both initiatives in regards to this overall area at the meeting on March the 12th. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right. Is there, I don't see any other hands up at this moment. Is there any further comments from staff? Are there any questions or comments? Sarah?
Can you help me understand what's going on at the end? I recognize the MTO is not approved, but why would we have to build up? Like, somebody said that gravel was taken out, like what happened there, like, and is that why the MTO is saying no?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure where you're pointing.
So
What page is that?
this came in, somebody gave
That's
it.
this one.
Yeah. Right where it says dead end drivable portion of Pineview Road allowance.
Yes.
Is that why the MTO has said no to that? Because there's gravel missing?
I may.
Yes, please.
It's an unrelated issue. The portion of what we call Pineview south of Highway 1117, I've been here for 11 years, has never been plowed. Okay, it's never been plowed. It's not in a state of repair. It was a used, unopened road allowance to access aggregate in the top part of that pit, our pit. When Germain Drive became active, we and Nebing Township share a pit on Germain Drive. We started making that our main point of entry, and the roadway was abandoned from Highway 1117 through to the dead end portion as shown on your map. It's never been maintained in 11 years that I've been here, and I think before that it wasn't maintained. It's very similar to the E-line road on the other side of the river that we're on the further down the Hearthstone. One side's maintained because there's use, the other side is not because there's no use. The related issue in regards to aggregate has deals solely with lot 12 adjacent to the municipally owned property, the formerly known as the PD line, in the property that is now owned by Mr. Jansen.
Sarah, does that help clarify?
Well, it helps clarify that the MTO has not disagreed with it because of missing, like gravel missing. I just wondered if that was an easy replacement, but do we know why the MTO said no?
Likely,
I called the.
Tim, then you have to come to the mic. I'm just cruel about this. You just gotta come to the mic.
I did call the MTO. It went on deaf ears for 2 years prior to us buying the property because we knew it was not landlocked. We had frontage. We've always had frontage on the Hearthstone, so it's not officially landlocked. We didn't have proper access. We knew that. So I've sent emails to Mr. Ellis, unresponded. I called a month ago. Another person in the MTO that works alongside, there was no response. So I called somebody else. I said, can we get access? He said, as of right now, no, because you don't have frontage. It sounds like a municipal issue because you have frontage on the Hearthstone. So as of right now, go down that avenue. They didn't say it's a hard no. They didn't say, we'll never give you access. Just as of right now, they're not entertaining the idea yet because we already have frontage on the Hearthstone Drive.
I'll go to Chris and then I'll go to Catherine, and I saw your hand as well behind you. Tim.
Further to this point, since I'm the main contact administratively for the MTO, we've had numerous discussions with the MTO in regards to the Pineview intersection being currently unsafe. That is recognized. There's no illumination. We do not have a proper shoulder drop off. That came to light many years ago when the Rural 60 went there with the amount of traffic going in and out of that facility. The motel brought it to their attention. They wanted to expand their driveway network as well, fronting on Highway 1117 because they currently have a side drive off of Pineview. Denied. No more driveways in that corridor. However, with the future, as what Tim's talking about, that corridor is going to change. There's no doubt in my mind. I may not see it in my lifetime, but Tim may see it in his, that corridor will probably flip over to municipal control at one point in time, 20 years out. Okay? This is why we don't want to go there's no benefit to the municipality to expand the unopened road allowance to get access to that because we know they won't let us do it. They won't let us put proper turning tapers. They won't let us put proper turning lanes in and out. They won't let us eliminate that intersection. So, as the report states, part of the conditions of the easement agreement with Mr. Jansen says, if Pineview Road is ever developed, this easement is removed. Access will be afforded to Pole Line Road or Pineview Road when it is developed.
I was going to point to that as well. Thank you. Catherine, you were next.
What about opening the Pine View Road allowance from the south end? Is there a portion of it?
We've heard,
Still the grade issue.
the grade to Pine View Road, if you're gonna do a 66-foot road allowance, 66 wide, as been mentioned, it goes straight uphill. You need less than 6% slope, which means it's a huge infrastructure project for the municipality to develop that road. What I discussed in regards to the driveway, 10-meter swath can be accomplished with minimal impact to the surrounding environment.
And this 10-meter swath, this would be an agricultural entrance, or is this like a?
It's a temporary agricultural entrance design width of maximum 8 meters with 1-to-1 back slopes on a small ditch.
So this is for,
One, usually it's 3/4 ton and a cattle hauler.
so I am aware that the MTO has 3 levels of entrances. They have residential, commercial, and agricultural. And agricultural is not an option for the north end of Pine View Road. I mean, I guess it's because it's unmaintained, therefore you don't have frontage.
And this was
But for agricultural purposes.
This is what the intent is of the property. We're gonna give them an agricultural 10-meter wide through an easement that we own. He could put the driveway in and take his quad and go over the public lands. We've put conditions on this easement agreement to address everything that you guys have discussed here tonight.
Yes.
And council understands that. Council's also had purvey with the new owner of the other lot in question that used to, when he owned both, transverse gravel through his own driveway over to his scales. That was fine. Now it's 2 separate owners.
Mhm.
And as Tim has stated, he has frontage on a municipally maintained road.
Thank you. Did you have something further? Come to the mic, please. You must come to the mic.
Get used to this by the end of the meeting.
I'm just saying that if an agricultural entrance with a 10-meter entrance like that is a possibility. And if you gate it, so, we're not looking at what kind of entrance, something down the road that's going to turn into something else. I know you intend to be there forever. We all do, but is that a better situation?
Sir, if I may address some of those concerns, I'm planning on bringing it across. If the berm runs this way, I'm planning on bringing it almost on a 45 to make.
Well, see, that's going to take up more of the ANSI.
No, it's only 10 meters wide, right adjacent to the road allowance. We've done enough.
Well, if you say so, but if that's the case, are you gating it?
Yes.
It's one of the conditions listed in this chart here.
Is there any way of stipulating that it doesn't turn into a more major entrance later?
It talks about the easement is for agriculture-based activities only. As long as we're not repeating ourselves, okay?
No, so what I've heard tonight is fantastic. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. So I didn't know what was in that planning report, and this is what I'm getting at.
All right,
I didn't, so
thank you.
we have a copy of it though.
Can-
Just, when did it go online?
This afternoon.
Okay, because I emailed you this morning asking when it would so that I could look at it, but, okay.
Thank you, and it has been heard that you'd like to see change. All right, anything else? Very good. Okay, I want to go to the committee. Are we ready to make a motion?
Well, I'm just concerned about voting against, or I don't see myself in a position to put a vote towards approval because of it's contravening the PPS. So go ahead and vote, but I will probably vote against, just letting you know.
Is there anyone you would like to ask a question of? We were told Wayne's an expert on the PPS. Wayne.
One of the things that it says in all of those documents is the word, the adjective, significant. The significant is not defined anywhere, unfortunately, but it isn't out if you think that this ANSI it downplays it, but it doesn't mean, you're not crossing the line then, if you think of this as, well, okay.
Can we get a ecological study?
You could ask for that, you could defer and ask for that, or you could. Yeah. I'm going to go to Sandy, is that okay? Sandy. Microphone.
Okay. Now I've written all over everything. I've learned a lot. It's really, really not so much confusing, but complicated, I find. So the Ministry of Natural Resources has ordered that a portion of the land that Mr. Jansen's purchased to be rehabilitated back to its original state. Right? I'm just, this is how I see it. This rehabilitation is the legal responsibility of the previous owner. Okay, who provided Mr. Jansen's with a letter from his lawyer confirming that he will do that work, right? Correct. So the application before us doesn't address how this required rehabilitation will affect the proposed easement / driveway, whatever you want to call it, or its suitability or any potential consequences for the ANSI portion of the land. So just let me finish.
Yeah.
Because the M&R is the lead agency overseeing the rehabilitation of the portion of this property, I think that they're also the most appropriate authority to advise on how Mr. Jansen's might access his land with minimal disturbance to the ANSI. So given that part of the property is presently under, or the property is presently under an active M&R ruling requiring proper rehabilitation, I don't really think that it's time for us to grant an easement at this time, because it's not really, to me, it's not just a simple matter of a farmer accessing his field. It's a complex situation involving a sensitive ecosystem that residents and neighbors have worked really hard to protect. Yes, we want Mr. Jansen's to have a safe, reliable access to his land. Absolutely. But we also want the ANSI to remain protected for generations to come. So I think that obtaining the M&R's input is essential to achieving both these goals. If we grant this application, it will allow Mr. Jansen's to start grubbing, excavating, filling in, gravel placement, and leveling all around the area that's being rehabilitated under the scrutiny of the M&R. So I don't know, for me, for those reasons, I would say that I would like to defer this application until M&R is brought in and somehow provides guidance on access options that protect the ANSI.
Is there any comment regarding that?
So all valid points, you know, you're exactly right. The timing of how this all happens is critical, right? This should be the cart before the horse. I get it. And it was explained in the council meeting very along similar lines where the disturbed area is municipal property.
Yeah.
Okay, the rehab has to partake on Mr. Jansen's property by a third party overseen by the MNRF.
Yeah.
We're all in this together over various aspects of it.
Okay.
Okay,
So where
they've already supervised the rehabilitation of lot 14 and lot 13, correct?
Yes.
14 and 13 are rehabilitated to the satisfaction of the MNRF. The frost hit, the snow hit, he shut her down. He's coming back for number 12. Okay, The municipality has a vested interest to make this right based on what we're talking about here tonight. If we do the easement, which is over our municipally owned lands, where we have this potential small impact driveway, which by definition in the report on an angle to make sure we do less damage to everything that's already disturbed, we line up with the internal road network in lot 12 that leads to 13 and 14, so Mr. Jansen's can go about his work. Because it follows the same path that when the previous owner owned both, illegally crossed the municipal gravel pit to access across the Pine View Road allowance to get to lot 12. You can see it on the Google map. We just got to get to that bottom part where the rehab's going to take place. And it's not to haul the rehab material from Hearthstone. We have an agreement with the new owner to do exactly what they've been doing till the end of May. And council is aware of all these agreements and nuances to get this off their plate. To get this rehab, to deal with the MNRF, to get this project put to bed.
Yes.
Also, MNRF has been circulated. We cannot force them to provide comment.
No, I
But they have been asked.
think they would want to.
All right.
Sorry, there's been a rebranding a little bit at the MNRF too. There's another wing now. There's a whole bunch of different aspects falling under that portfolio. The operator in charge, the inspector we were dealing with in 2015 has moved on 3 times. Our new one, her name is Nicole Newmakoski. We have correspondence with her on this file internally as to how we're going to approach it, especially when the second property changed hands on February, whatever the day that Colin got it. We had to enter an agreement to facilitate this because we knew we had to get a bunch of material down there. So as soon as Colin changed hands, we had a meeting with Mr. Chastek and we have that in writing presented to council as the site meeting or the meeting we had with him. We've got agreement on 4 parties with MNRF oversight.
Wayne?
Well, makes me think of something, Mr. Hackwell has to get in there to do his thing, but he wouldn't be going over this easement. You go down Germain across our pit to get in there. That's okay. He's not like access for a property. It's just, yep, here you go. That's how would get in there with his equipment and material too.
And that is in the conditions, that it's agricultural purposes only. It's in there.
For the easement.
And for the
So the
easement.
easement, that's the
Easement, yeah.
plan there, yes.
So it was circulated to the MNR, but they just didn't respond. It's not that they didn't have concerns, they just didn't respond.
They never respond. I mean, we rely on them to respond. That is their role. We rely on them to respond if they have comments. For or against. If they don't respond, we take it as they have no concerns.
Can we not take it as that? Like, can we, I think to Sandy's point, defer because there's all this stuff going on and in May, you said this stuff's gonna be done in May.
I don't think that's what he said.
No,
Is it?
through the chair, there's an agreement in the purchase of lot 12 that stipulates the work will be done by May 31st. Mr. Hockwell is very intent on dropping the aggregate license to this property so Tim can go about what he wants to do with it. Nobody wants to extend their liability in regards to an unoccupied aggregate license pit.
Yes, come to the mic if you're,
About, what was your question?
Well, just like if something is like to Sandy's point, you make a good point that there's all these complex pieces going on. Could some of it get sorted out by May? Could it come back to us and could we, I know you say we can't, but could we not compel them to respond like the MNR, or could we not then seek our own ecological study?
Facebook or something.
And then revisit it in June, I guess.
So I'm understanding the urgency of what's happening here. I
I'm
didn't know there
clearly
was
not.
urgency. I didn't know there was a date. So what you can do, and this is, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but you don't have to deny, you don't have to defer. Can you not just have a condition that M&R is involved? And that when if M&R can look at it, because Chris said they're out there.
Through the chair, we have agreement from MNRF to oversee this file till May 31st to get it done.
You could, so
Concern.
if that's, would that be enough for you? That there is an agreement from MNR to see MNRF to see this?
Does the MNRF equate to the, like, just based on the public comments, the concern about like, are they an expert in that?
On the
They
ANSI?
never respond on anything, so would they be an expert?
Designated, so I would hope so.
Okay, well,
So, oh, sorry. So in your agreement that you have with,
To the mic, my dear.
with the
Sorry.
agreement that you have with MRFS. Yeah.
whatever it is.
MNRF.
Yeah, MNR, anyway. Do they mention ANSI?
So through the chair, the reporting back as far as 2009, when the MNRF got involved with this file, designates that land. Okay, it designates area of natural significance, but it also designates severe distortion and not original ground terrain.
Okay, so the agreement that you have,
Has nothing to do
With
with going
ANSI.
over the easement. Has everything to do with the rehab of municipal property
yeah,
that currently abuts lot 12.
yeah, I understand that, I think.
All right. I think Catherine, do you have something? And I am seeking a motion at some point.
I'm working towards it.
Okay.
I'm working towards the motion.
Is I don't know, is your mic on? I can't see from you.
I'm looking at our conditions A through I.
Yes?
Page 84. I see slight modifications to F and G to add the addition of the alignment would be with Oliver Papoon's operational staff in conjunction with MNRF. You said he's already been on site, so that I see just a little bit of an assurance there that the people who designated it are in attendance. It's likely going to be exactly where you're saying, Chris. You can see that it's already disturbed. Why would you disturb more area? But it is I think our way of being prudent about that. And then the other comment, can we make a comment to the effect that should this land transfer ownership, this will be revoked? Like easements are registered on title, so they run with the land. So say something changes in their business model and they sell this land to somebody else who just starts stretching the.
Well, the condition is there already that the easement and the driveway would be only used for agricultural
Right.
purposes. Wouldn't that be enough?
It's registered on title. They wouldn't be able to transfer without that declaration.
There you go.
It would have to be named to the new owner and that would never fly without being declared.
That it's agricultural only, is that what you're? So I'm wondering if that we could,
We feel that there was an option to sell a piece of land here. That wasn't going to fly in the public perception. We
Yeah.
own the land. We'll put the conditions on it that fits the need for the current use and we're done.
Yeah.
Little strip along Park.
no, I'm just saying like,
No, he means that the township could have sold him the little piece. But instead they've decided to put conditions on the property that will be the easement and allow the easement through.
Yeah, so we are a landowner on somebody else's land,
That's correct.
correct? So the easiest place we could have gone was said, hey, here's your 50-foot or here's your 10-meter strip, buy it.
Yeah.
Then there's no conditions. We have the conditions.
so I just want to make sure that, so the easements for agricultural based activities only. So lawyers draft the document. That's the easement document that gets registered on title. So if it has this caveat of agriculture only in there, land changes hands, and somebody can't just start doing the creep. And
That's correct. The
Can't do
condition is, the condition.
well, they'd
was
have to
made-
come back to committee and given. Yeah, so it would have to be a full review at that stage. So I'm just trying to assure that all of us all parties reach their goal, and if it's for agricultural only, and it says that in the easement document that's registered on title, that runs with the land, so a new owner can't do a little fixie-wixie.
correct.
Yeah, okay, so then I would, I guess somebody needs to.
Move it at some point.
Okay, I move that we,
That's, I can read the motion and you can
edit.
let.
Okay.
That application for consent 1B 0826 Jensen's for the easement on the property legally described as Lot 13 Concession C NKR Papoonge, Part Lot 12 Concession C NKR Papoonge SRO as in TBR 230911 except TBR 222796, Oliver Papoonge, District of Thunder Bay, locally known as fronting on Heartstone Drive in the municipality of Oliver Papoonge, be approved with the conditions. And the conditions were listed earlier.
I
Yes,
make
Catherine?
a motion that we accept what you have just read to us with a minor edit to items F and G, adding the wording in conjunction with.
I will, one moment,
Mhm.
I will ask Chris, would that fall under MNRF's peruse? Is that part of their role?
Not in this application, no. It wouldn't be.
That wouldn't be something that MNRF would do. That's not their job.
If you're looking for an expert, as everybody's talked about here, if you're looking for an expert opinion, experts are a great thing, but there's always two of them. And they always have different opinions. So to have the MNRF be the judge and jury, if you so would call it that, they're not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, we're trying to reach a goal here with 5 or 6 different parties. We have a plan, we figure we have verbiage in an agreement. And we already recognize, as Sarah mentioned, and even Catherine's mentioned, it's an area that's disturbed where we're gonna go. We're not going any bigger.
Wayne.
I just wanted to comment that with M&R, we will be working with them in restoring the land. The PDROW belongs to us. There will be the restoration plan. We have the site plan that was done in 2009. But how it ends up getting configured, we will be a party in that, as will the property owner of Lot 12. They're supposed to have a 3-to-1 slope. That's where we're going. But this area here, I mean, we can tell M&R, well, we've got this easement driveway, so it's going to be a little different. Or maybe it'll be the same, I'm not sure, but we can work out something that will be sensible. But M&R will have an input on that when because he's got to go all along the face where he's taking a gravel in.
Yeah.
That that gets taken care of then in the restoration of the Lot 12 and our ROW.
The proposed driveway across the easement has to blend in to the sloping efforts that the MNR is gonna be watching us on. And gonna be directing us. They're already there. To name them in an agreement on our property without consulting them is just not gonna happen.
It's not good etiquette.
Not good etiquette, no. They're gonna be there at the outlet of the easement, and we have the power of the easement because we didn't sell the land. We kept the land.
Sorry, Carrie.
Right, okay, so I just wanted to state that a condition of the consent as is listed is that an easement agreement be developed and approved by the municipality of Oliver Papoonge. Okay, if you're wanting to change components of that agreement before it's written, based on the comments that are in my planning report, we would have to add something to that that says, as per the planning report, and as discussed, or something, an agreement be developed and approved. So to change F and G, I can't do that the way that it's currently written.
Okay.
It's based entirely on Chris's expertise, Wayne's expertise, and what I presented as conditions in the planning report.
And their continued relationship. Do you guys have a different suggestion?
I'm
just trying to make sure that.
I had a suggestion.
Oh.
Would it be,
I just wanted to comment that easement agreement would go to council, so it would be a public document and be scrutinized there, so.
thank you for that. The only other thing I could think of is that we could put in there on condition that we reach out one more time to MNRF. And that would put the ball in their court that they would want, that we would reach out one more time to say, please comment. If they don't, then then we've done our due diligence.
Sounds like in principle they're on board.
Yeah, so how would that be enough that we reach out one more time? Or it's not even necessary?
Through the chair, is this related to the driveway or or crossing of the property?
Just to the easement itself.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, then perhaps we should just go with the conditions listed here.
To be clear, I'm still wanting to
You're likely
defer
going,
because of the PPS situation. Like if we're not going to hear from the MNRF and we're not going to get an ecological.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be on record forever for things to be dragged out later that I contravened a PPS because we didn't seek that. So I'm gonna.
that's okay, but I will just let you know that officially, it is recorded that you abstained, but it is a no. then.
Yeah,
Just
that's
as
fine.
you know. All right. I need someone to move something. Catherine has moved and then I'm not sure. We didn't get a seconder.
Well, we've got.
So
three
is
different-
there a mover in the room not in the room? At the table. Otherwise, I'd like to call a 10-minute break to get a glass of water. Is that okay? Because we've been here now for 2.25 hours. Could we just have a moment?
Mhm.
Unless someone wants to move now. Okay. All right, we're gonna just call a 10-minute break. We will be back at 7:22. Please take a moment.
What, Catherine?
Okay, I am calling the meeting back to order. We are still debating resolution 16/2026 on this form. Would you like me to reread the proposed motion? And we'll go from there.
The one that's in writing in front of us?
The one that's, yeah, on the resolution that's in front of us. I'll just read it out. It's not I'm not moving it, but we can go from there, okay? That application for consent 1B 0826 Jensen's for the easement on the property legally described as Lot 13, Concession C NKR Papoonge, Part Lot 12, Concession C NKR Papoonge SRO, as in TBR 230-911, except TBR 222796, Oliver Papoonge, District of Thunder Bay, locally known as fronting on Hartstone Drive, in the municipality of Oliver Papoonge, be approved with conditions. That is in front of us. Is there a motion or an action for that?
I make a motion that we defer this upon one more effort to get comment from the MNRF to satisfy us that we're not contravening the ANSI that they set up in the first place back in
1979.
79. And then it would give, encourage them to do that before next meeting so that we can proceed.
Okay. Do I have a seconder for that?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? And I did see Wayne's hand up as well. Do you have information for that?
I have a suggestion.
Okay.
There will be an easement agreement for this consent, right? And in the easement agreement, normally there's an easement agreement that says the conditions about who's paying for what, et cetera. And then there's the easement itself, that goes on the title. Within the easement agreement, you could have that it's dependent on having demonstration that this does not negatively impact the ANSI within that agreement. And it would go to council, and that would have to be there before council could pass it. Because I know it's a little bit confusing, but I think that's doable within the agreement itself. Like the easement agreement is two things, There's the agreement and then there's the schedule, right? The schedule is the thing that goes on the title. It says agricultural only, all this kind of stuff. But the easement agreement itself, it could say that the condition has been met that this driveway, this easement is not going to impact the ecological functionality of the ANSI.
We can also make that a condition of the easement itself. Just
According to whom though? Sorry.
Yes, I'm gonna go to Sarah for a moment. Yes?
Yeah, sorry, there's two things in my head. One is just in response to that, which just happened in the middle of the motion that Catherine is proposing, but if that's something being considered, I want to know according to whom, right? Like in that case. So I think that's one important part. I think the other is if we are going to defer, it's obviously of a concern to there's lots of people here, there's lots of people impacted. I'm concerned that the public doesn't have opportunity to comment again if we are deferring with whatever, which one of you guys said that? Yiska. So you said that you're not going to be able to comment again if we defer, is that correct? Or is there something we can do to make sure that public has ability? Or is that wrong? Or I just want to make sure it's a public process that we're being considerate of that.
What is process, Carrie?
Well, per the Planning Act, we are holding the statutory public meeting now. If you defer, the committee is essentially asking planning staff to prepare a recommendation report. That is not a public process anymore. Then it's just the committee's decision.
Can we make it a recommendation or a condition that we recirculate? No.
You can't do that for some and not for
No.
everyone.
Do you speak for or against the motion that's in front of us to include one more effort to contact MNRF as a deferral?
I don't know how I feel about that, because I don't know if they don't, I'm in the same boat. If they don't comment, we still don't have an expert, an ecological expert, and with all due respect, I know that there are experts here and there, but it contravenes the Planning Act if we don't access that, so.
Sorry,
the PP.
for understanding, the PPS talks about significant. I believe that is the
We
word.
know, but we don't know what, that's not defined.
Significant means, yeah, and that is open to interpretation.
Mhm.
Fair enough,
Mhm.
but there is that word in there. I
You don't
have a
need-
mover. I don't have a
seconded it.
seconder. I'm sorry. Thank you. I didn't see
A
that.
while back. there.
My apologies.
It's okay.
Thank you. I didn't write it down.
No, no.
All right, then I'm going to call the question. All those in favor of deferring until we have one more effort to contact MNRF regarding the ANSI? All those in favor of deferring that way? Right? And opposed?
I'm not opposed to
And-
getting more details, but I'm opposed to that being the solution, so I guess I'm going on as
Abstained.
opposed.
Or
Abstained.
opposed? Yes, abstain. Okay. That carries then. Thank you. We will talk about this at the next meeting. All right, we have another property in front of us. And I have misplaced my agenda. Thank you. 1B 0926 and 1B 1026, new lots for McNally.
Nobody's interested.
Harry, would you like to do the report?
Thank you. Two applications have been received from Keith McNally for the property known locally as 10730-10732 John Street Road.
One moment. A little quieter, guys, as you go.
Page.
Talk in the parking lot.
I don't have the.
Thank you.
I'm all
Please
mixed up.
continue.
These applications are each for the creation of one new lot with 2 hectares in area, leaving a retained lot of 49.4 hectares. The portion of the subject property subject to these applications is designated as rural in the official plan and zoned rural in the zoning bylaw. Subject property is abutted by additional rural residential and general agricultural lots in all directions. The proposed new lot will meet all area and frontage requirements of the zoning bylaw. An official plan amendment and zoning amendment were both approved by council in February of this year to ensure these severances could be permitted. An entrance permit obviously is required through the municipality if they do not already exist for each of the new lots. We did not receive any public comments. We did not receive any interdepartmental comments. Agency comments were received from the Lakehead Region Conservation Authority as well as the Ministry of Mines, both stating no concerns or objections. And council passed a resolution stating no concerns at their meeting on Tuesday evening. It would be my recommendation that both of these applications for consent be approved with our usual conditions.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the committee? Right? Hearing none, is there a motion potentially that application for consent 1B0926 for the creation of one new lot on the property legally described as Oliver Concession 4 South Part Lot 10 PCL 16551, locally known as 10730, 10732, John Street Road in the municipality of Oliver Papoonge be approved with conditions. Sandy. Is there a seconder? Catherine. Any further comments? All those in favor? Thank you. That carries. And with that, we go to the additional one, that application for consent 1B 1026 McNally for the creation of one new lot on the property legally described as Oliver Concession 4 South Part Lot 10 PCL 16551, locally known as 10730 and to 10732 John Street Road in the municipality of Oliver Papoonge be approved with conditions. Sandy. Seconder. Sarah. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Thank you, that carries. All right, next to us is the minutes. Hopefully you've had time to read them in this package. The minutes, seeking a motion that the minutes of the February 12th, 2026 meeting be approved as presented. Sandy. Catherine. Any further comments? All those in favor? Thank you, that carries. Is there any unfinished business? No. New business, we do have some.
Yes, I would like to put her on the spot and introduce our new planning administrator. Her name is Brittany. This is also Krista's last planning meeting with us. So
Hello, Brittany.
we'll be transitioning over. This was a great introduction.
Oh, yeah.
Not normally like.
We have to tease Arnold. We needed him to keep us in line, so we were shorter in time.
And good luck, Krista.
Yes, very much so. Yeah. All right, with that, is there any further new business? Yes.
Don't know if we want to address this today or put it on the schedule for a future meeting, but the request that the planning employees report be shared prior to the meeting so that applicants can tailor their comments. I know that you had said something in the email, Carrie, about there's a process for changing that. Yep. So do we want to entertain this? Do we want to talk about it? Do we want to? Do we want to?
I'm guessing that this came up at the actual council meeting. Did it not? It did not.
No, it didn't, no.
Okay.
With respect to this.
Okay, then if there is an interest in changing process, as said before, we can address that to the council. Yes, Wayne.
I'll just comment that stealing Carrie's job, but sorry. But yeah, there's the procedure bylaw for the committee. And that's what has established this policy that the agenda is posted publicly, but the planning material is not provided public. It's just given to the members. You need to amend this bylaw, which is rather tedious, a lot of things to do. And we were probably thinking about doing that after the next election. But an alternative is to say, notwithstanding section da-da-da in here, to say that you're going to do that. But you'd have to get council to do it because this is a council approved document.
Yes.
So I'm putting that
You
up
could-
to see what the appetite is for everybody else to do that. Cause when Carrie read the conditions, you could see the look on everybody's face go, that's not bad.
I would like to point out that not one person asked specific questions. They asked me for the planning report. No one asked for the conditions with an easement or how that might work. I didn't receive a single question.
I
Or-
might not know what questions to ask though, like to respond to that. Like if I were the public, I might not know until I would have the chance to read it, so I can understand. Like I don't see why we're keeping it from them. So my appetite would be to, like, if that calmed some of this down and there would have been less conversation because they read it, then I support that.
Yeah. Wayne, would you, or Carrie, one of you?
I have concerns about sharing it because it's another opportunity to bring any errors.
Would you please, what I was going to say is, would you share what Wayne just spoke about to the
What-
committee?
If you're
If you
interested,
have the document, could you share that with us one more time? By, like, online, like by email?
You want me to email you the procedure by?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't received before. It's bylaw 15/2020.
I think it would be nice, then we can review it with a little bit of thought if we had any recommendations on process.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm just going there and you guys aren't interested. I just thought since it's come up and just because I saw the reaction.
Yeah, I
they were
can't,
happy when they heard the conditions that Carrie had
Yeah.
recommended. So I
I
might
can,
not go over there with it, but I felt like it was prudent of me to bring that up.
there are advantages and disadvantages. I agree with that statement. But this is our bylaw, so there's no harm in sending it to us and you can take a look.
I mean,
Yes.
Right.
Is it okay, Chris? Yes?
No, I just, the procedure's procedure and
Yep,
that's those,
yep.
my gut tells me that if a council planning report gets shared, then it's going to create a robustness of deputations in regards to planning at the council table, which isn't their purvey unless it's a subdivision.
That's correct.
Okay, so then it's a duplication, and to Carrie's point, it's another opportunity to voice the same thing. Wayne and I and Carrie have heard the same deputation in
I-
48 hours, okay?
I'm aware.
That is going to continue
Yes,
if you add this layer.
I think. it's
I
already
understand.
No, but it can't. As members of Committee of Adjustment, you're aware of the standalone arm's length agreement from council, other than subdivisions.
Yeah.
And if you go down this path, you got an overlap.
I appreciate the comment. And I know.
and I haven't done
know.
any research to this effect, so I'm throwing it out there for
I'm not.
conversation.
No, I hear you.
I've been to one Committee of Adjustment meeting in 11 years. I want to keep it that way.
I hear you. Yes, Wayne.
I just want to comment that some municipalities are different. The city of Thunder Bay, you can't find anything on their website. But the city of Kenora, they do publish their planning reports and everything with the agenda so that the public get it.
Yeah.
But the quirk about Oliver Papunj is that council comments on consents, which is what Chris is talking about. It makes things
Confusing.
duplicative and introduces some other issues. And one thing about that, which is just the nature of our jobs though, is when you provide a report, then persons will nitpick at it and this is no good and so forth to try to just keep things going when it kind of boils down to, I just don't like what you're doing.
That is always a possibility, but you do want good process. So,
But that's a good idea.
yeah.
The
let's-
committee, you look at this and maybe you put it on the next agenda for a discussion.
I think
Yeah,
that would be
and
good.
Maybe it'll go nowhere.
Yeah.
I haven't surveyed what a number of other municipalities do. And what, could you tell us why it's a quirk that council
Yeah.
comments on committee?
Okay, what the normal practice is that a council doesn't have to have a committee of adjustment. They can have one. Needing doesn't have one. So the other day they did a consent that they asked us for some comment on. So if you got a council, if they decide they want to have a committee of adjustment, it's in the Planning Act that you put these people in there and they're supposed to be, the power is delegated to them to do it. But our council has always had the tradition, goes back decades of getting the applications and looking at them and making comments to the committee. So why are you doing that? If you delegated the authority to the committee, why is council commenting to the committee? These should be like independent. Council, I'm giving you the job, you 5 people here, and that's it.
Can we make recommendations that it doesn't go to council anymore? Or does that sound like we're self-serving? Like, or is it helping?
Well,
We're just asking questions here.
Yeah.
yeah, sure. Well, I can explain that recently we did.
have in mind. I don't know if that matters to anyone,
But
but
that's fine. We did have it, but it's all public knowledge. There was a council report that was done a few years ago, went to council, and council disapproved of the idea of them not commenting on applications.
Oh.
Yeah, so
I just think if they're if staff can be frustrated by having to listen to the same deputations, and it's our role to do this, like why? Anyways, that's fine. Let's look at the bylaws.
Through the chair, with changes in MMAH
Yep.
policy statements, you gotta really be concise of what you're trying to do here. Like, because at the end of the day, if you make a decision, wanna be all encompassing and all that authority, better have a budget to pay for lawyers.
I understand.
Because there's that community that exists out there, right? And the provincial government allows that. So it's a little bit of this, right? You gotta be careful.
All right,
Is there somewhere we could research this, like, like they hire professional planners to help create the OP and the like they consultant planners that do that to create the OP and the zoning bylaw. Like, do they advise on things like that, or?
Through the chair, and I turn the microphone on. You have that tool already. She's sitting right there. She gets paid to do that, and she decides when and if she hires outside consultation to help her through a problem. But she doesn't control what the province decides to do. Or what OLT decides to do, or how they envision things. She can only simply advise you.
Yeah, we don't want this going to.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I mean, your comments are well taken, Chris. I put it out there because it came up. That's.
very good. All right, I don't see, is there anything else? All right, I think we are up to then adjournment, so I will seek a motion and a seconder at the March 12th, 2026 meeting. Let me finish of the Committee of Adjustment be adjourned, the time being 7:45. All, Sandy? All in favor? Woohoo, we're done. Thank you all. And thank you for those who are watching. No.